Let me guess. You're looking for a private guide in Madrid, and you've found us. Now, why is Madrid Original your best option? I'll try to convince you with 3 reasons. First, we know every corner of our town. Second, we are knowledgeable. As guides with a history or an art history degree, we know every layer of Madrid's past. And third, for us, a good storytelling is as important as knowledge or accuracy. Do you want to check? Let's drop a coin and see where and how deep it leads us. We found a coin at the Plaza del Cordón, in the middle of the Calle Sacramento. It's one of the most charming places in the center of Madrid, but not necessarily one that appears in all travel guides. And yet, it has one of the most original 18th century buildings in town. Only one that is partially hidden.
You have to turn the corner to be assaulted by the curved facade of a church taller than the neighboring buildings. How original is this idea? Let me compare it with some images I've brought here.
Giacomo Bonavia had learned architecture in his native Italy, in the Baroque tradition of impressing the viewer with long perspectives, whenever it was possible. But when not, do at least surprise the viewer by hiding the building as long as you can, and then reveal it in full splendor.
This is what Bonavia did here, setting back in order to hide, vertical development in order to impress, a curved facade to be admired sideways. The architect wanted to occupy as much of the square as possible. He almost blocked the main entrance of a neighboring palace, which happened to be that of the archbishops of Toledo. How could this be done? Well, simple. The architect was hired to convert the parish church into the private chapel of Archbishop Luis Antonio de Borbón.
Fourth son of King Philip V, Luis Antonio had been born a prince. As he had no hope of ruling as state as his elder brothers, he was elected cardinal and Archbishop of Toledo being just 5 years old. These aimed at securing an important source of revenue for him and to ensure the control of the Spanish Church by the king. Despite his religious dignity, he was nonetheless a prince and wanted to have a palace in the capital of Spain. He bought the houses next to the parish church of Saints Justo and Pastor, and borrowed from his father one royal architect, less prestigious than others, but with skills that made him perfect for the task of turning a small and impressive parish church into a spectacular temple. Giacomo Bonavia had arrived to Madrid to build the Royal Theatre of Buen Retiro, and had later designed several opera sets. He was therefore the best man to achieve the greatest impact with fewer resources. The facade was decorated with the coat of arms of the Prince Cardinal, but also by 3 theological virtues: faith, hope, and charity. And only one of the 4 cardinal virtues, fortitude. Why fortitude and not justice, temperance, or prudence? Because fortitude was a cardinal virtue that the saints Justo and Pastor showed during their martyrdom. Saints Justus and Pastor were Christian children who proved their faith and fortitude when they preferred martyrdom to worshipping pagan idols. They were beheaded in Complutum, the Roman name for the city of Alcalá de Henares, in Madrid's province and within Toledo's diocese. The election of this church as Archbishop's chapel was clear. Saints Justo and Pastor were an alter ego of Prince Cardinal Luis Antonio de Borbón, bringing together faith, childhood, Toledo, and Madrid. For this extraordinary church, Luis Antonio de Borbón employed Bonavia, Robert Michel, and the González Velázquez brothers, that is, only architects, sculptors, and painters who had already worked for the king. As you've seen, there's a bit of a good story around the old church of Saints Justo and Pastor. The amazing thing is that this story is absolutely linked with that of many other relevant monuments, great historic characters, and important events of Spanish history. And this is something that becomes evident when you ask questions and get answers from your private guide. We've connected the church with the archbishops of Toledo. We could also explain why there were archbishops of Toledo in Madrid in the 18th century, but no local bishop at all, and therefore no cathedral until the 19th century. This would trigger other important questions, like why the court settled in Madrid and chose Madrid as capital of the empire if the town did not even have the dignity of an episcopal see. We've nevertheless seen how the monarchy managed to control the Spanish church. We've also introduced the importance of the church as a sponsor of great artists. Some of them even decorated the palace of kings. We have also talked about Luis Antonio's patronage and could also talk about his patronage later in life as protector of Goya, who painted portraits of members of his family, some of them now in the Prado Museum. You would also find in Madrid fountains that once embellished the gardens of his palace in exile, only now reinstalled in the royal palace gardens of the Campo del Moro. The Prince Cardinal would also introduce us to the personality of his brother, Charles III, who caused Luis Antonio all kind of misfortunes. And Charles III, as the king that has done more than anyone else to increase the artistic heritage of Madrid, would reappear during our guided tours since the royal palace was decorated during his reign. He gave also the order to build the Prado Museum to his architect Juan de Villanueva, the same one who completed the Plaza Mayor with triumphal arches. Charles III also gave the order to build the royal post office at the Puerta del Sol, and he inspired the emblematic Puerta de Alcalá. With an art historian by you, everything will be connected and everything will make sense. If you'd like a guided visit like that, look for more information at www.madridoriginal.com and contact us. We hope to see you soon.